Machiavelli wrote down the rules of power over 400 years ago, and every single one still works perfectly in 2026. You just do not notice them because the people using them do not want you to. Today, we are breaking down 13 of his most effective manipulation laws, not because I want you to use them, because I want you to recognize them when someone else is using them on you. If someone uses these on you, you will know within the first 30 seconds. Once you see them, you can never unsee them again. That is why the people who practice these laws hate anyone who knows how they work, because an aware person is an uncontrollable one. These specific tactics are designed to be invisible until someone points them out. And after today, you will never be blind to them again. Number 1. The algorithmic ghost. Machiavelli called it the fox principle. Be unpredictable so no one can map your patterns. Today, this looks like the person who shows intense interest for weeks, then goes completely cold for days without explanation. You cannot predict when they will show up or pull away, and that uncertainty creates a constant low level of anxiety that keeps you obsessed with figuring them out. The psychology behind this is called intermittent reinforcement. Skinner proved with pigeons that predictable rewards create stable behavior, but unpredictable rewards create addiction. The person who texts you on a random schedule is running a Skinner box on your nervous system and you do not even know it. Number 2, weaponized apathy. You might know it as the gray rock method. The manipulator becomes completely emotionally unavailable, and you chase harder because the silence feels like rejection and you want to fix it. They never have to lift a finger. They just sit back and watch you break yourself apart, trying to win back what they made you feel in the first place. This exploits your empathy because good people cannot understand how someone could intentionally withhold care, so they assume there is something wrong with themselves. It is not you. It is tactical coldness disguised as indifference. Number 3, the synthetic mirror. Machiavelli wrote that a cunning ruler should mirror the desires of those he wanted to control. Today, this is the person who studies you for 2 weeks, then becomes the perfect match for everything you want. Same movies, same travel plans, same values. It feels like a soulmate connection. It is not. It is a copy built to get your guard down fast. Real connection takes months to build and reveals inconsistencies along the way. A synthetic mirror skips all that process and installs loyalty on day 1. If someone agrees with everything about you within the first week, that is not compatibility. That is research. Number 4, the black box doctrine. Silence is the ultimate power move. They make a decision about you and will not tell you why. You ask what is wrong, and they say nothing is wrong. The silence does the damage for them because you spend hours mentally rewriting everything you said and did. Intelligent people fail the hardest at this because they assume silence means there is something important hidden in it. So they overanalyze every word from the past month trying to find the crime. The manipulator knows this, and that is why they said absolutely nothing. Number 5, plausible deniability. Always leave yourself an exit. Every manipulator speaks in qualifiers. I was only joking. You are being too sensitive. I never said that exactly like you heard it. They keep a door open so when you call them out, they can step through it and pretend they never meant what you clearly heard. You start doubting your own memory, and that is the goal. Because if you cannot trust what you heard with your own ears, you will stop trusting what you hear in your own head. This is the foundation of gaslighting, not the dramatic movie version, the quiet, everyday one. Number 6, the curiosity trap. Control the narrative through withheld information. The manipulator starts with, I have something to tell you about your best friend, and then says, oh, actually, it is not important. Your brain treats unresolved information like an incomplete task and keeps it active in working memory until it gets resolved. The manipulator opens the loop and never closes it. So your brain stays stuck in a cycle for days, thinking about them, texting them for answers they fully expected you would ask. Number 7, reciprocity reversal. This is when they do you a favor, then use it as leverage again. The friend who lends you money and then reminds you at every single opportunity. The partner who does you something nice and brings it up in every argument 3 months later. The trap is not the favor itself. It is the infinite repayment schedule that comes with it. No matter how many times you thank them or try to repay them, it never feels settled because the debt was never meant to be paid. It was meant to be held over your head as proof that they are superior to you. Number 8, the decoy gambit. Fake weakness to reveal your opponent's true intentions. The manipulator pretends to be confused or helpless to get you to explain yourself. Then they use everything you told them against you when the timing is right. They asked you what makes you insecure and you confessed because you thought it was a safe conversation. They were listening not as an ally but as an intelligence collector. The difference is stark. One helps you heal while the other collected the weakness for later use. Number 9, social judo. Using the group against one individual. The manipulator does not confront you directly. They poison your reputation in private conversations, then show up as the innocent party in public. They create alliances behind closed doors, and when you finally stand up for yourself, it is not you against them. It is everyone against you. They turned your own support system into weapon, and you did not notice until it was too late. And by the time you realize what happened, everyone else believes the version of you they were fed in private. Number 10, the empathy shield. This is understanding people without absorbing their emotional chaos. The manipulator pretends to care deeply, but they have zero intention of taking on your pain. They hear your struggle and repeat your words back to you with perfect clarity. They make you feel seen and understood, but they will never actually help. The danger sign is one-sided revelation. If they never share their own vulnerabilities, but always push you to share yours, that is not intimacy. It is reconnaissance. They are mapping your emotional terrain while keeping their own completely dark. Number 11, the one that nobody talks about. Pattern interrupt. This is how every successful manipulator operates under the radar. They establish consistent behavior and predictable routines for weeks. Then out of nowhere, they break that entire pattern without any warning. The texts stop. The affection disappears. And you panic because your nervous system became dependent on a rhythm that was never meant to last. This is the most devastating tactic because it does not require active harm from them at all. Your dependence on the pattern they built does all the damage for them. Number 12, the authority cloak. Borrow power through association. The manipulator drops names of influential people they claim to know. They wear the right clothes and stand in the room and deliver the right phrases at the perfect moment, like they belong to a crowd you already respect. You instantly trust them because they appear to belong to a group you already trust. But you never verify the association, and that assumption is exactly what they counted on from the very beginning. Number 13, controlled burn. Destroy a small trust to save the relationship. The manipulator confesses to a minor betrayal. They admitted to reading your messages or flirting with someone at a party, but only enough to seem completely honest with you. You give them credit for being vulnerable and truthful, and you overlook the actual damage because the apology felt so sincere. But the confession was never about honesty. It was about distraction. While you are focused on the small betrayal they admitted to you, never see the larger ones they are still hiding behind that wall of false vulnerability. The scariest manipulator is not always the person who acts cold. Sometimes it is the person who seems to understand you better than everybody else. They notice your mood before you explain it. They ask the question that makes you feel seen. They remember the small detail you told them when you were vulnerable. And at first, that feels like safety. But this is where the dark empath idea gets interesting. I am not using dark empath as a clinical label. Think of it as a behavior pattern. Someone who can read emotions well but does not always use that skill carefully or kindly. A more obvious narcissistic person often gives you warning signs early. They interrupt. They need the room to revolve around them. They get defensive when they are not admired. They make you feel like you are auditioning for their approval. That can be painful, but it is also easier to name. A dark empath-style person can be harder to spot because the first thing they give you is not pressure. It is relief. They do not walk in saying, "Look at me." They walk in saying, "I see you." And for someone who has been ignored, dismissed, or talked over, that can hit like water in a desert. Here is the first move in the playbook. They learn your emotional map. Not just what you like, what you fear, what makes you feel guilty, what kind of silence makes you panic, what kind of praise makes you trust faster than you should. A healthy person learns those things to care for you better. A manipulative person learns them to steer you. The difference is not whether they understand your feelings. The difference is what they do with that understanding when it benefits them. The second move is emotional mirroring. They make their energy match yours. If you are angry, they become the only person who gets why you are angry. If you are hurt, they sound hurt with you. If you feel misunderstood, they become your translator to the world. That can feel intimate very quickly, but watch what happens when your feelings are inconvenient for them. Do they still care about your experience, or do they suddenly become confused, wounded, or offended? Do they help you think clearly, or do they only validate the version of the story that keeps you attached to them? This is why they can feel safer than a narcissist. A narcissistic style person may make you feel small by taking up all the space. A dark empath style person may make you feel special by making you think you finally found the one person who understands the space inside you. That is more subtle, and subtle control can last longer because you keep defending the part that felt good. The third move is selective honesty. They share just enough pain to look real. A difficult childhood, a betrayal, a moment where they were misunderstood. And maybe all of it is true. But the story has a job. It makes you more patient with behavior you would question from anyone else. You start thinking, they are not trying to control me. They are just wounded. And sometimes people are wounded, but being wounded does not give someone a free pass to use your empathy as a remote control. The fourth move is the perfect apology that changes nothing. They know the language. I hear you. I understand why that hurt. Your feelings are valid. I never wanted you to feel that way. Those words can be beautiful when they come with changed behavior. But when the same pattern returns, the words become a reset button. You feel so relieved that they understand the damage that you stop tracking whether they actually stop doing the damage. That is the trap. Emotional intelligence is not the same as emotional responsibility. Someone can describe your pain perfectly and still keep causing it. The fifth move is using your goodness against you. If you are forgiving, they frame your boundary as cold. If you are loyal, they frame distance as betrayal. If you know yourself well, they invite you to overthink your reaction instead of looking at their behavior. Suddenly, the question is not, why did they do that? The question becomes, am I being too sensitive? Am I abandoning them? Am I the one who does not understand? That is how control hides inside care. So what do you actually watch for? Watch how they handle a boundary that does not benefit them. Not a boundary they agree with. Not a boundary that makes them look good. A real one. A no, a delay, a private decision. A moment where you choose yourself and they do not get access. Healthy people may feel disappointed, but they adjust. Manipulative people turn your boundary into a character trial. Watch how they talk about other people who stopped giving them access. Are all their exes unstable? Are all their old friends jealous? Are all their coworkers threatened by them? One bad story can be real. A whole world of villains is a pattern. Watch whether their empathy has range. Can they care about your feelings when your feelings challenge them? Can they admit impact without demanding you comfort them immediately? Can they let you be angry without turning themselves into the victim of your reaction? That is where the mask usually slips. The point is not to become paranoid of every emotionally intelligent person. Real empathy exists. Kind people exist. Deep listeners exist. The point is to stop confusing intensity with safety. Someone understanding your feelings is only step one. The real test is whether they respect your agency after they understand them. If this kind of breakdown helps you spot patterns without losing your head, subscribe. I keep these practical, based on behavior, and useful in real life. And if you want to see how this pattern looks in smaller moments, watch the tagged shorts from this video too. Because the most dangerous part is not that someone knows how you feel. It is when they know exactly how you feel and still use that knowledge to move you where they want you. Here is a simple way to check the difference in real life. Tell them something small that disappointed you, but do not over-explain it. A healthy person may ask questions. They may even feel a little defensive at first, but they will try to understand the impact and adjust. A manipulative person will often do something else. They will turn your disappointment into a test of your loyalty. So instead of talking about the thing that happened, you end up proving that you still care about them. That is a quiet switch. The original issue disappears, and now the emotional spotlight is on your reaction. Another sign is how fast they want exclusivity. Not always romantic exclusivity, emotional exclusivity. They may not say, "Only trust me." They say, "Other people do not really get you like I do." They say, "Your friends are giving you bad advice." They say, "I just think you should be careful who you let in." Maybe that sounds protective. But if every outside perspective becomes a threat, the comfort is starting to become a cage. The cleanest test is this. Do you feel more like yourself around them over time, or do you feel more managed? Do you make decisions more clearly, or do you check how they will feel first? Do you trust your own read of a situation, or do you wait for them to interpret your emotions for you? That is where the pattern becomes visible. Real empathy gives you back to yourself. Manipulative empathy makes you feel like you need the other person to understand yourself. One more practical check. Ask yourself what you are afraid would happen if you stopped explaining yourself to them. If the answer is they would be disappointed, that might be normal. If the answer is they would collapse, punish me, withdraw love, or turn everyone against me, that is different. Safe people do not need you to stay small so they can feel secure. Safe people can handle a pause, a no, a private thought, and a boundary that is not about them. So do not only watch how warm someone is when you open up. Watch how steady they are when you stop giving them total access. You're being manipulated right now and you don't even know it. Not by some mastermind. By everyday people in everyday conversations. And it works because it's designed to be invisible. There are 5 phrases so simple you'll hear them today and think nothing of it. But each one is a trap. And once you hear what they really mean, you will never unhear them again. Number 1. The innocent question that locks you in a corner. Are you sure that's what happened? Or are you sure you're remembering that right? Sounds harmless. Sounds like they're just checking the facts. But it is not a question. It is an erasure. Someone says this to you after you state what happened, and your brain instantly downgrades your own memory from certainty to possibility. That is the entire purpose. Not to find the truth, to make you question it. Here is how it works. Your nervous system prefers stability over being right. When someone casts doubt on your memory, even politely, your brain starts searching for what it might have gotten wrong. The manipulator knows this. They do not need to convince you their version is true. They only need to crack your version of what happened just enough. Once your memory shifts from what I know to what if I'm wrong, the conversation is over. They won without presenting a single fact. Here is a real example. A couple argues about what was said at dinner last week. One person says, "You promised to take out the trash." The other says, "Did I say trash? I thought I said laundry." The first person starts doubting themselves. That is the moment the trick works. Not when you change your mind. When you start asking yourself, maybe I did hear wrong. Next time someone hits you with, "Are you sure?" Do not defend your memory. Do not lay out your case like a trial. Simply repeat what you said with the same words. "Yes, I remember what I remember." Then stop. The person who wants to question you fights harder when you do not give them ground to dig into. Number 2, the backhanded compliment that plants a seed. You look great, for once. Or that was actually a pretty good idea from you. They pair something positive with a qualifier that destroys it. Your brain hears the compliment first. The warmth hits. Then the qualifier slips in the back door and you do not notice until it latches onto something deep. The qualifier always tells you the truth about what they really think. For once means they usually think you look bad. Actually means they are surprised you're capable at all. The compliment is bait. The qualifier is a fishhook. Imagine your boss at work saying nice job on the presentation for someone who has only been here 6 months. You smile, say thanks. Then 3 hours later you feel off and do not know why. It is because the qualifier called out your inexperience while looking like praise. Your nervous system caught what your mouth missed. Here is the mechanism. It is called intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. If they were mean all the time, you would disappear. But they are not. They are unpredictable, sometimes kind, sometimes cutting. Your brain stays engaged because it cannot predict which one it gets next. That uncertainty keeps you coming back. You can spot this in real time by listening for one word. The qualifier word, for once. Actually, finally, at least. Whenever you hear a positive statement followed by one of these, the person speaking is not complimenting you. They are telling you how low their expectations are and wrapping it like a gift. Number 3, the memory twist. That never happened. This is gaslighting and training wheels. They do not just question your version, they deny the event existed. I never said that. That never happened. You are making this up. They deliver it with total calm. That is the killer. Not the lie, the calmness. When someone denies shared reality without even raising their voice, your brain assumes they must be confident. Why would someone lie so casually? But here is the truth. Calm people lie more often than nervous ones in confrontation. Nervous people show stress when they deceive you. Calm people either tell the truth or lie so often they no longer feel anything about it. The second option is more common than you want to believe. Picture this. You confront a coworker about taking credit for your idea in a meeting. They look you dead in the eyes and say, "I never said that was my idea." Smooth, clean, zero hesitation. That is not innocence. That is practice. A person who genuinely did not say it would look confused, not calm. The trick has a name in psychology. It is called source confusion. When you are repeatedly told an event did not occur, your brain starts displacing the memory, not erasing it, just moving it from real memory to maybe I dreamed it. That displacement is all the manipulator needs. How you fight it. Do not argue about what happened. Stop. Write down events as they happen, not paranoid level, just the basics. Date, what was said, what you felt. When someone says that never happened and you check a conversation in your phone from last week, the game is over before it begun. Number 4, social proof weaponization. Everyone thinks you're wrong. Everyone noticed how you acted at the party. Or we were all talking about it and no one agreed with you. This one is devastating because it invokes the most powerful force in human social behavior, the instinct to agree with the crowd. Ash's conformity experiments from the 1950s proved it. People will deny what their own eyes see when everyone in the room says otherwise. The manipulator knows this at a deep level, not from reading psychology, from intuition. They literally say everyone but never name a single person. That is the tell. Every time you hear everyone or no one thinks without a specific name attached, you should assume the opposite is true. Think about it. If actually everyone agreed, they would bring names. Sarah and Mike agree with me. They never bring names, because there are no names. It is just them. And they are using the word everyone as a shield for an opinion that only belongs to one person. The trick exploits fear of exclusion. Your ancestors relied on group acceptance to survive. Being outcasted meant death. So when someone says everyone thinks you are wrong, your body reacts like survival is at risk. But you are not in a caveman world anymore, and no one is just a person in a room with you trying to sound bigger. This trick shows up in family dynamics all the time. Your sister would never behave like this. Or the whole neighborhood comments on your lawn. Vague armies deployed from thin air to make you feel isolated. The person using it knows exactly what they're doing. And they pick topics they know you are sensitive about because it hits harder. When you hear it, ask the one question that collapses the entire trick. Who specifically? Not show me proof, not I do not believe you. Just who specifically said that, every time. Number 5, the guilt sandwich. This one is a full structure, 3 layers, and people use it without knowing they're doing it, or because they learned it works and never questioned why. Layer 1, the compliment. You are always so helpful. I know you are the best person for this. I really appreciate what you do. Layer 2, the demand. But I need you to stay late tonight. Could you also cover my shift? I need you to talk to my boss about this. Layer 3, the emotional lock. I thought you were someone who helped out. I guess I misjudged you. I always thought you were a team player. The structure is deliberate. Even though people do not always realize it is deliberate, the compliment opens you up. It puts you in a space where wanting to be seen as helpful is active. Then the demand arrives while you are already in that state. Then the lock slams shut. It connects your identity to compliance. If you say no, you are not just saying no. You are proof that the opinion in layer 1 was wrong. This is what separates the guilt sandwich from a simple request. When someone just asks you for something and accepts no, they are having a normal conversation. When they tie your identity to your answer, they are not asking. They are managing you. The way out is simple but hard because your emotions will fight you. Separate the compliment from the request. Acknowledge the compliment. Then answer the request as if it came alone. No emotional debt. No guilt tax. Thanks. But I cannot do that tonight. Done. No justification, no explanation, no apology for being a person with boundaries. Here is why this one is the most dangerous. Because people use it on others who care about them. A friend, a partner, a family member. They do not use it on strangers. They use it on people who want to be seen as reliable, and that desire is the weapon they aim. When someone ties your character to your compliance, they are not having a conversation. They are running a playbook. Now you know what to listen for. The question that erases your memory. The compliment with the fishhook. The calm denial of what you know happened. The invisible crowd behind everyone. The 3-layer trap that makes no feel like a failure of character. They work because they hide behind normal conversation. Nobody thinks to defend against something that comes disguised as casual chat. But once you spot one, you will start seeing them everywhere. Not because they are everywhere, because you are finally looking. They said that to keep you confused, the 5-step manipulation cycle. If someone's words leave you more confused than when they started talking, you are inside a manipulation cycle, and it always follows the same 5 steps. You know that feeling where you are sitting across from someone completely sure you were right about something, then 10 minutes later, you are defending a position you never held in the first place. That is not an accident. That is a designed sequence, and every person who has ever made you doubt your own memory uses it. The same 5 steps every time. Step 1, they find your open door. Every manipulation starts with a target they know will not fight back the same way they fight. Manipulators do not pick their victims by chance. They scan for the person who apologizes first, the one who questions their own reaction before questioning what triggered it, the one who feels responsible for keeping things calm even when someone else started the fire. This is not about weakness, it is about empathy. People who think about how their words land on other people make the easiest targets because they already do half the manipulator's work for them. You hand them the advantage by caring more about being good than being right. The manipulator tests you small before going big. They make a comment that is almost an insult but not quite. Then they watch to see if you will hold them accountable or just swallow it. If you swallow it, the door is open. They know you will absorb discomfort before you cause conflict. That single decision is what the entire cycle runs on. Step 2. They reframe the story you just lived. This is where the confusion begins. Something real happened. You heard what was said. You felt what they did. But within minutes, sometimes seconds, the person who did it gives you a completely different version of events. They did not yell at you. You are too sensitive. They were joking. You cannot take a joke. They never meant it that way. You are the one twisting their words. The goal is not to convince you they are right yet. The goal is to plant enough doubt that you cannot feel certain you are right. Certainty is the ground manipulation needs to take from you. Think about the last time this happened. Someone said something hurtful, and before you could even explain why it hurt, they were explaining what you misunderstood. The conversation shifted from their behavior to your perception. That shift is the trap. Once you are defending how you heard something instead of talking about what they said, the cycle is already working. This step works because of something called reality destabilization. Your brain stores events with emotional context. When someone delivers a different emotional context for the exact same event within seconds, your memory does not instantly reject their version. It stores both. You now carry two conflicting experiences of one moment. That split is the confusion. Confusion is the weapon. Step 3. They escalate just enough. Once doubt is planted, the manipulator does one more thing. They push slightly further. Not much. Just enough that if you push back this time, they can paint you as the one who escalated. This is the pivot point of the entire cycle. They moved from step 1, where they were almost harmless, to step 3, where they have moved the line, and now you are standing on the wrong side of it. The escalation is always calibrated. They know how far they can go before you will explode or walk away. They stay 1 degree underneath that threshold. This is why people who leave manipulators describe the same relationships so differently. The outside world only sees the moments where the victim finally snaps. They never see the 30 small escalations that led to it. They see the reaction, not the pattern. Here is the part that stays hidden. The manipulator is not losing control in these moments. They are exercising it. Every escalation is measured. Every response is tracked. If they push and you absorb, they file that information. If they push and you resist, they file that too and adjust the next time. This is behavioral science applied to relationships. They are shaping your responses like a Skinner box. Reward silence, punish pushback. Repeat until the subject complies automatically. Step 4. They flip who is hurt and who is hurting. This is the moment where the manipulation becomes nearly invisible to anyone watching. The manipulator takes the exact behavior you are upset about and transforms it into proof that you are the problem. You bring up what they did, and suddenly they have 3 reasons why your tone is inappropriate. You mention feeling hurt, and they tell you how your reaction is the real damage. The original action disappears. It becomes background noise while the spotlight falls entirely on your response. This is not new. It has a name in psychology. It is called DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. The person who did the denying says it never happened. The person who attacked says your response was the attack. The person who caused the harm says they are now the victim of your behavior. The entire framework flips in under 5 minutes, and most people do not realize it happened until they are sitting there apologizing for something someone else did to them. The reversal works because the manipulator brings heat you do not expect. You came in to talk about one thing. They pivot to 3 things about you that have nothing to do with what started the conversation. You are now defending your character instead of discussing their action. That is the flip. That is where they win. Not because they are right, because they changed the battlefield. Step 5, they reset and wait for you to forget. The final step is the quietest and the most dangerous. The manipulator stops. They do not apologize. They do not acknowledge anything. They stop and behave normally, sometimes warm, sometimes like nothing happened. And most important, they let you believe it is over. They reset. They wait for you to return to your baseline. Because once you are comfortable again, the cycle repeats. And each time it repeats, the line moves a little further. This reset is not passive. It is engineered. The manipulator knows that time works in their favor. Every day without incident makes the previous incident seem smaller. Every normal conversation after a manipulation makes the manipulation feel less real. The pattern works because it is intermittent. Like any intermittent reward system, the unpredictability hooks you harder than consistency ever could. You keep waiting for the version of this person that shows up between the cycles. That version is the bait. This is where the damage compounds. After 3 or 4 cycles, you stop trusting your memory because your memory keeps contradicting itself. You remember them saying one thing, but they swear they said something else, and enough time passed that you cannot be sure. After 10 cycles, you stop raising issues entirely because the energy cost exceeds whatever resolution you might reach. After 20 cycles, you start believing that you are someone who sees things wrong, not because you are broken, because someone trained you to doubt yourself by design. How to break the cycle. Understanding the 5 steps does not make the cycle stop on its own. It gives you something more important: recognition. Once you can name the step while it is happening, the manipulation loses its main advantage. Confusion requires you not know what is being done to you. Naming removes that fog. Step 1 is happening. They found your open door. Close it. This means stop absorbing discomfort to keep other people comfortable. When someone tests you with a half insult, name the test. Call it what it is. You are not being mean. You are being clear. Step 2 is happening. They are reframing the story. Do not let the subject change. Say it again. What you said was X. We are talking about that. Not my tone, not my reaction, not how sensitive I am. What you said. Hold the frame. The person trying to reframe depends on you letting go of the original point. Do not let go. Step 3 is happening. They escalated. Do not match their energy. Escalate your clarity. State the boundary once. If they cross it again, leave the conversation. Not to make a scene, because you said you would, and following through is the only thing that trains anyone to take your boundaries seriously. Step 4 is happening. They flipped the victim and the offender. Do not defend yourself against a charge that does not exist. Say this conversation no longer includes what we started with. I am leaving until we can talk about that thing. You do not need to justify why their new topic is a distraction. Walking away proves it. Step 5 is happening. They reset. Do not reset with them. Keep the record. Write down what happened. Not for anyone else, for you. Because in 3 days, the fog will try to return, and your own notes will be the one version of events that did not get rewritten by someone who benefits from you doubting yourself. None of these counter moves are easy. They feel uncomfortable because you are fighting a pattern that probably started long before you met this person. You learned to be accommodating in a world that punished you for being difficult. The manipulator found someone trained to absorb conflict instead of ending it. Breaking the cycle means breaking some of your own habits too. That takes time. It takes reps. It takes deciding that being clear matters more than being liked. Silence is not always manipulation. Sometimes silence is healthy space. The difference is whether there is a clear path back to the conversation. A healthy pause has shape. It can sound like I need an hour and I will come back to this. Punishing silence has no shape. It leaves you guessing, and the guessing becomes the leverage. The pattern starts in a familiar moment that looks normal until you slow it down. The pressure starts when no reply becomes a rule. You learn which topics make them disappear. You learn which boundaries cost you warmth. You start managing the silence before anyone has clearly named the problem. That is the script. They go quiet, you chase. You send one message, then another. You explain more than you meant to. You apologize for things you are not even sure you did. Separate healthy space from silence used as pressure or punishment. The text message loop is simple and painful. Silence, double text, over-explanation, apology without clarity. By the end, the original issue is gone and your distress has become the new topic. The trap is that chasing can feel responsible. You tell yourself you are trying to repair, but if repair only happens after you panic, over-explain, or erase your concern, the relationship is training you to abandon your own clarity. A grounded move is to send one calm message with a clear door back to the conversation. Something like, "I am open to talking," when we can name the issue directly. Then stop feeding the pressure loop. No reply can become a script that makes someone over-explain. One message is enough when the goal is repair. 6 messages usually train the pattern to wait until you negotiate against yourself. Stopping does not mean you do not care. It means you are refusing to negotiate with absence. If someone needs time, your pause gives them room. If someone needs control, your pause removes the reward. Watch what happens when you stop chasing. A repair-oriented person can return with language. They may still be upset, but they can name the problem. A controlling pattern often returns with blame for the fact that you stopped performing distress. One grounded move that avoids chasing, escalating, or retaliating. The decision rule is clear. Send one open door back to the conversation, then stop feeding the pressure loop. If they want repair, the door is there. If they want leverage, the performance is over. This is why the difference between space and punishment matters. Space protects the conversation. Punishment avoids the conversation while making you pay emotionally. One has a path back, the other keeps the path hidden. The takeaway is simple. Do not turn silence into your assignment. Offer one clear opening, keep your dignity, and wait for direct communication. Real repair should not require you to chase a locked door. A useful clue is whether the pause has a return time. Space can be uncomfortable, but it usually gives the relationship a way to continue. Punishment keeps the ending open, so your anxiety starts doing the work for them. Once that pattern is learned, you may start censoring yourself before the silence even happens. You avoid the topic, soften the boundary, or apologize in advance because you already know what absence feels like. That is how quiet control becomes loud inside your own head. The other person may not be saying anything, but your mind is rehearsing every possible mistake and trying to buy warmth back with extra explanation. The first repair test is directness. Can they say what hurt, what they need, and when they are ready to talk? If the answer is never specific, the silence may be functioning less like a break and more like leverage. The second test is proportionality. A short pause after a tense conversation is different from days of disappearance over a normal question. When the reaction is much bigger than the issue, the silence starts becoming the message. Do not reward that message with a performance of panic. One respectful opening is enough. After that, your job is not to keep proving that you care while the other person withholds the basic terms of repair. This does not mean you become cold. It means your care gets structure. You can be available for a clear conversation without becoming available for endless guessing. A person who wants repair may need time, but they do not need your self-abandonment. They can return with language. They can own their part. They can let the original issue exist without turning your distress into the offense. A controlling pattern often reacts differently. It may punish your calm, mock your boundary, or accuse you of not caring because you stopped chasing. That reaction tells you the chase was part of the reward. The point is to make silence less powerful by refusing to treat it as a command. Keep the door open for direct communication, but stop letting absence rewrite your standards. Bring this back to the silent treatment script that makes you chase them without making it bigger than it needs to be. The useful move is to notice the small, repeatable shift. What changed after the interaction? Did you gain a clearer choice, or did you become more anxious about choosing at all? That question matters because manipulation often hides inside aftermath. The conversation may sound normal while it is happening. The cost shows up later, when you are replaying every sentence, softening your own memory, and trying to make the confusing part your responsibility. A grounded person can hear a clear question without turning it into a loyalty test. They may disagree, but they do not need to punish the question. That is one of the simplest ways to separate tension from control. You can also ask what the pattern rewards. Does it reward honesty, repair, and clearer boundaries? Or does it reward silence, guessing, over-explaining, and emotional self-abandonment? Patterns become easier to understand when you look at what they train you to do. If the answer is uncomfortable, move slowly. You do not need a dramatic confrontation to start protecting your judgment. Sometimes the first healthy step is just refusing to make a permanent decision while you are confused, rushed, guilty, or emotionally cornered. The final reminder is this: clarity should make your world more workable. It should help you name the next honest step. If a person, tool, or system keeps giving you intensity without clarity, treat that as a signal to slow down and widen your perspective. A second useful lens is repetition over mood. Anyone can have a tense day. Anyone can communicate poorly once. The question is whether the same emotional shape keeps returning, and whether you are always the one who has to shrink, chase, prove, or apologize to restore peace. That is why the safest advice is usually boring. Slow down, name facts, keep records, ask for specifics. Wait until your body is calm before sending the message that could be forwarded, cropped, or used as the new topic. It also helps to separate urgency from importance. Something can feel urgent because your nervous system wants relief, not because a wise decision is required in the next 5 minutes. When the pressure spikes, time is often the protection. The strongest boundary is not always a dramatic speech. Sometimes it is a smaller pattern repeated calmly. Fewer explanations, clearer questions. One message instead of 6. A decision made after sleep instead of during panic. That is the viewer promise, not a perfect label, not a fantasy where every confusing person is exposed instantly. The promise is a sharper pause between stimulus and response, so the next move belongs to the viewer instead of the pattern. For content, this matters because the audience does not need another scary label. They need a repeatable decision rule. If a moment makes them abandon facts and chase emotional relief, that is the exact point where the lesson becomes useful. End by returning to agency. The viewer cannot control whether someone else becomes clear, fair, or consistent. They can control the speed of their response, the quality of their notes, the questions they ask, and the point where they stop rewarding confusion. If this pattern has trained you to over-explain, save this before the next silence starts writing your side for you. A small no can reveal more about respect than 100 easy yeses. The practical test is whether disappointment stays honest or turns into debate, guilt, punishment, or a threat to the relationship. You decline a small request. The request was ordinary, but the response suddenly makes your character, loyalty, or gratitude the issue. Separate the feeling from the behavior. Disappointment can be honest. The test is whether that disappointment leaves your answer intact or starts charging you for keeping it. Psychologically, once a no is framed as rejection, guilt can make restoring warmth feel more urgent than protecting the original choice. That is why one ordinary request can suddenly feel like a verdict on the relationship. Maybe they say, "After everything I do for you," when the current request has nothing to do with those earlier moments. Maybe they keep asking why, until your short answer becomes a trial where every reason can be appealed. The escalation often moves from a repeated request to a challenge against your reason, then to a label about your character, and finally to a punishment or threat to warmth. Use one clean sentence. "I understand you are disappointed. My answer is still no." Do not keep adding reasons that can be appealed one by one. A concise answer lets the reaction become evidence instead of turning your boundary into a courtroom defense. Judge the pattern over time. One clumsy reaction may improve after reflection. Repeated debate, guilt, or punishment after clear answers shows that access may matter more than consent. Do not turn a boundary into an opening statement for a debate you never agreed to have. Disappointment is not the same as disrespect. Someone can wish you had said yes, tell you that honestly, and still leave your answer intact. The warning begins when their feeling becomes a reason your boundary should disappear. Repeated why questions can look like curiosity while functioning like an appeal process. If every reason you give creates one more objection, the goal may not be understanding. The goal may be exhaustion. Watch for character labels after a limit. Selfish, cold, difficult, ungrateful, or dramatic can turn a practical choice into a trial about who you are. Once your character is on trial, the original request becomes harder to refuse. Consequences matter too. A healthy consequence protects the other person's boundary. A punishment is designed to make your no expensive enough that you reverse it. The difference is whether the response creates safety or compliance. Try a smaller boundary before a major confrontation. Delay an answer. Decline one optional request. Keep one private detail private. Small limits show whether respect exists without requiring a dramatic test. You do not need perfect calm to deserve a boundary. The sentence can be short and ordinary. I cannot do that. I am not available. I have decided not to discuss it. Clarity does not need a performance. The reaction after the second calm answer is especially useful. If the request keeps changing shape, if new guilt appears, or if old favors are introduced, the pressure is no longer about the original question. A relationship that respects you can recover from disappointment. It does not require instant agreement, but it does require the ability to hear no without taking your dignity, history, or belonging hostage. If safety is a concern, boundaries may need distance, documentation, or outside support instead of a face-to-face test. The goal is protection, not proving the pattern to the person creating it. The final metric is agency. After the conversation, do you still own the choice, or are you only calculating which answer will restore warmth? That difference is the heart of the boundary test. Boundary pressure often escalates in stages. First comes the question, then the request is repeated with softer wording, then your reason is challenged. Finally, the conversation turns toward what your refusal supposedly says about you. Recognizing those stages helps you stop earlier. You do not have to wait for a cruel insult or dramatic threat. Repeated pressure after a clear answer is already information. Watch for bargaining that ignores your actual limit. What if it is only for an hour? What if nobody finds out? What if this is the last time? A smaller version of the same violation is still the same boundary being negotiated. A pause can protect you from automatic yeses. Say that you will think about the request and answer later. Someone who respects your decision can tolerate that space. Someone who depends on urgency may try to close it immediately. It also helps to decide which boundaries need no explanation. Privacy, time, money, physical access, and emotionally loaded conversations may need a clear answer before they need a full story. If you change your mind freely, that is your choice. The important question is whether new information changed the decision or whether pressure simply made holding the original answer too expensive. Afterward, do not grade the boundary by whether everyone stayed happy. Grade it by whether you were able to be honest without abandoning yourself to manage someone else's reaction. Respect is not proven when your answer is convenient. It is proven when the other person still recognizes your personhood after your answer limits what they want. You can revisit the relationship later when the immediate pressure has passed. Ask whether the disagreement produced more understanding or only a new strategy for getting around the same limit. If the boundary keeps returning under different names, stop answering each version as a brand new request. Name the pattern once. I have already answered this, and I am not reopening it today. A no does not have to be permanent to be real. It only has to describe your decision now. Respect means letting that answer exist without forcing you to predict or promise every future version of yourself. A boundary describes what you will do, not a rule that controls someone else's body or choices. I will leave if shouting starts is a boundary. You are forbidden to feel angry is not. That distinction keeps the lesson grounded in agency. Over-explaining can accidentally teach a pressure pattern that no is only temporary. Every added detail becomes a handle for another objection. A short answer is not cruelty. It simply refuses to turn your private reasoning into an endless appeals process. Digital access creates ordinary boundary tests too. A delayed reply, a private password, location sharing, or a request to read messages can reveal whether closeness is being confused with unrestricted access. Care does not require permanent surveillance. Time boundaries matter because exhaustion makes compliance easier. A request at midnight may feel emotionally urgent, even when it can wait until morning. Delaying the answer protects the quality of the decision without automatically rejecting the person. Money boundaries deserve especially clear language. Lending, gifts, shared costs, and emergency help can carry real consequences. Put the amount, purpose, and repayment terms in writing before guilt or affection is asked to fill the gaps. Humor can hide a boundary violation. They may call the pressure teasing, say you cannot take a joke, or laugh while repeating the request. The useful question is whether the behavior stops once the limit has been made clear. A consequence and a punishment are not identical. Someone may protect their own time, money, or emotional safety after your no. Punishment is different because its main function is to make your choice painful enough that you surrender it. Use a two-step response when the request keeps returning. First, state the answer, then state the conversation boundary. I have answered, and I am not discussing this again today. The second sentence protects the first from being worn down. In family systems, old roles can make a normal adult boundary sound like rebellion. The history explains why the reaction feels intense, but it does not automatically make the current request fair. Present consent still matters inside long relationships. At work, a boundary may need professional framing rather than emotional language. I can complete a by Friday or be by Friday, but not both, keeps the limit tied to capacity and leaves a clear record of the trade-off. If you decide to change your answer, name why. New information, new capacity, or a freely reconsidered preference preserves agency. Changing it only because warmth was withheld teaches the pressure that escalation works. Repair after a poor reaction is possible. The other person can acknowledge the pressure, stop relitigating the answer, and behave differently at the next limit. Respect is measured not by never feeling disappointed, but by what happens after disappointment is recognized. The most useful review happens after your body settles. Ask what you originally chose, what argument changed the emotional temperature, and whether the final answer reflected new facts or simply the need to restore peace. The point is not to make every no permanent. It is to let a real decision exist without forcing you to predict, defend, or surrender every future version of yourself. If this made the pattern clearer, subscribe for more practical psychology breakdowns like this.